Another game in which the Minnesota Wild just can't solve a goalie. 5-2. The loss to the Colorado Avalanche here tonight as Justus Annunen stops 44-46. And same script, different game. We'll talk about the budding chemistry between Murat Huznadinov and Adam Beckman, the lack of finishers on the Minnesota Wild current roster, and plenty more, all coming up on tonight's Locked On Wild postcast. The doctor's here. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wild postcast, part of Locked On Minnesota on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
The Minnesota Wild fall by a score of 5-2 to the Colorado Avalanche this evening. And tonight's Locked On Wild postcast is officially underway. Welcome in, everybody, as unfortunately the Minnesota Wilds did it again. But it's nothing new. It's the same story we've seen played out on a large scale throughout the entirety of the season. The Wilds get some shots on a goalie, can't get opportunities to fall, and shaky goalie play early on. Philip Gustafsson was rough.
That glove, what the heck was that?
God. Like, so let's talk about the goalie play to start, and we'll keep you up to date because as far as I can tell, just doing the quick math, if Los Angeles gets 6 more points the rest of the season, that's it. That's the official.
They're leading right now too, aren't they?
Yep, they're up 2-0 on the San Jose Sharks after one period. As far as I can tell, 6 points is all the Kings need, and they play the Wild next week. So 6 points is all they need to officially eliminate the Wild.
And how did they do against the Wild the last time they played?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. But Philip Gustafsson early just did not seem like he was tracking the puck at all. He had that weird puck kick out of his glove, and the Avalanche were able to bury that opportunity. Had the one that popped up in the air, no idea where it was, and the Avs were able to tap it in. It was pointed out on the broadcast that he got better as the game went on, but like we have to, like these.
That's been the problem all season. All season.
We can't ignore these things that continue to be problems, and the number of times. And I'm starting to kind of get the off-season calendar put together. I'm going to actually go through and tally the number of times that the team has fallen behind early in games is way too many. It won't beat the New Jersey Devils because they have fallen behind 50 times this season in however many games they've played. It's a problem. It's a huge problem because this team is not built. This team is not built to come back from deficits. We've seen this play out time and time again this season. There just are not any. There are maybe 2 guys that are finishers on this team consistently. Beyond that, there are players that are capable, but you have a point blank in front of the net. You can't whiff on that.
No.
You can't swing and miss on that opportunity. And I don't need to call the player out because everybody knows who I'm talking about. We just need to you have to do better. Like you have to do better at that spot. A top 6 spot in the lineup, you have to have somebody that can bury goals because guess what? Colorado Avalanche, they had no problem finishing their shots here tonight. Like
they smell blood in the water. I mean,
they have, and it was funny too because people went out of their way.
the last McKinnon goal, he didn't even like put in his full McKinnon effort, and it got by Gus. Like he knew it was going in. It was just.
I heard mentioned multiple times before the game even started that the Avs are a one-line team, and all you have to do is stop one line. And I'm like, that's not accurate. That's not accurate at all.
And when you got a guy like Cale Makar on the back end too, it just it's unbelievable what this guy does. I put the debate out there: who would you rather start a team with, McKinnon or Makar? It's so hard. It would probably be McKinnon, but look at what Makar does. It's absolutely insane, and you really see it on the power play too. When Krill took that that penalty, they instantly scored on the power play. That was just insane.
It's not a small gap between these two teams. It just isn't. Like we need to.
And the goalie that Colorado had in, I mean, he's that's not Dominic Hasek in that. There was just way too many shots right into him. I mean, they could have tested him a lot better tonight.
I think it was of the 46 shots on net, 9 of them were high danger. Which
that's not gonna win you any game.
No. It's we need to come to grips with two things. And look, I don't think anybody is of the impression that this is going to be a cup contender next year, but the two, like, there is a gap between the top teams in the Central and the Minnesota Wild. And two-part question here. Second part of it is that this Wild team is not just one player away.
No.
Like, this team has some needs. And I know it was talked about on Judd's Hockey Show. It was talked about on Bar Down Beauties, who both friends of the show. You have to find a way to offload some of these contracts. I mean, what was it tonight? Because I'm deathly curious.
The cardio boys, it is getting frustrating with them. And, I've been throwing it out there that I think, at least give Riley Heidt a chance. Give him that 9 games at least. I mean, like we've talked about, Zach Benson, he's been with Buffalo all season as an 18-year-old, and he wasn't the first or second overall pick. So, I mean, give Heidt a chance. I mean, that type of scoring that he's doing in juniors should translate to the NHL. Just he would show some life compared to some of these guys. When, like we've talked about, when you're only taking one shot on goal, and Freddie then a lot of times not even, and you're getting special teams time. I mean, come on. Or Ogren, some of these young guys, give them a chance.
I do want to, like, before we get too into it, because I'm just like, I want to be perfectly clear. I love doing this, but I also am very much in 7 games left of the season, and then we're into off-season mode, because I'm really excited to break all this stuff down.
Oh yeah,
like in the off-season, but we're just going to continue. We're just going to continue this march the rest of the way. Like, the people that are hoping to see prospects, we're not going to see that until this team is mathematically eliminated, and we probably won't see it that much down the stretch anyway, because it's a veteran-laden roster. You've got guys like Alex Goligoski, who got into the lineup for the first time in 24 games tonight. There's going to be more of that. Honestly, I want to focus on the one positive, the one really intriguing good thing that I saw here tonight that I loved. Mm-hmm. Murat Huznadinov and Adam Beckman are starting to develop a little chemistry.
Yeah, they were so close to connecting on one tonight.
That give and go.
Was fun to see. Yeah.
That give and go from Beckman to Huznadinov on that near tip in, that was sweet. But
I gotta give credit to Marco Rossi too. I just think he's really, he's really strong on the puck lately and mm-hmm. really battling. That's really nice to see too, because he gets a lot of crap for being undersized, and I think he's really using his body a lot down the stretch here too. So that's nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, I like it just further underscores it. You have, and we saw, but I understand the reasoning. We saw the breaking up of Boldy, Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek, but the reasoning being that they were trying to get Kirill Kaprizov away from the McKinnon line. I understand that. That's fine.
All right.
But like still, you have Kaprizov with Rossi and Zuccarello. That line is fine. But then you go right back to Boldy, Eriksson Ek, and Johansson. Like I
mean,
I don't know one more
year.
year.
I don't know what Johansson has on Hines, but it's just it's mind-boggling. He never gets in. I don't know. After the game, it's never anything remotely critical on his game. It just just imagine if they had a little bit more money and they were able to re-sign Nyquist instead of Johansson, just how much of a difference this team would be. I mean, look at what he is doing with Philip Forsberg. I think Forsberg got his 42nd tonight, and I mean that line with him and Ryan O'Reilly, it's just incredible. That's why Nashville is where they are right now.
You want to know where the stats are at for Gustav Nyquist this season?
Please.
He had a 3 assist night tonight. I don't even want to say the numbers.
Yes.
I don't even want to. Gustav Nyquist, 22 goals, now 49 assists.
It's insane. What a player when he's fully healthy.
He's got 71 points on the season. You want to know on the other? I don't think Johansson. I don't think he has half of that. Half of 71 is 35 and a half.
That's embarrassing for a guy that's played top 6 minutes for the.
Marcus Johansson has 28 points in 70 games. He has just eclipsed the 100 shot mark on the season. He did have 3 shots tonight, so it does not count as a 2 shots or fewer game or 1 shot or fewer game. So it's 41 in 70 games. 41 games in 70 out of 70 games, 1 shot or fewer. I don't understand why we keep doing this. I don't.
He can't be in the top 6 again next season. I mean, if they are trying to be a serious team, he can't be in the top 6. I mean, put him and Freddie on the 4th line. Anything else, Yeah.
Because again, I want to spend.
You think Dallas and Winnipeg and Colorado get scared when they see Marcus Johansson in the top 6?
And again, right in front of the net with space, and you swing and miss on an opportunity right in front of the net. So, okay, we'll pause here in a second, but offensively, here are some things that I'm not super thrilled about. The number of shots that continue to be woefully errant, huge problem. Inability to finish, huge problem. The fact that so many of these shots just go directly into the goalie's pads. Hey, guess what? Declan Chisholm may very well line up as the next fan club that I'm president of. Top shelf shot. Guess what? He scored.
That was, he was like a no look. He was, like you said, from way deep. It was Kobe. Yeah, it was, and that was just such a weird, because they had all the all the passing, and then he comes right off from the bench and scores. That was
laser.
It was impressive.
Laser, blazer, all the Azers.
I mean, again, the Justus, the goalie they played tonight has been in the AHL for a lot of the season, and it wasn't Gorgiev. Gorgiev has not had a great season, and they're trying to save him. It's like the gas tank is he's like running completely out of gas. They're at the point with him, and I mean, I think Colorado's going to use the same strategy that they did when they won the cup when Darcy was in net. They're just going to try to steamroll teams. And if Darcy gives up a ton of goals, so what? They're going to just, have Nathan McKinnon go in, hero mode. Zach Parese's along for the ride and Brandon Duhaime and Casey Middlestead. The connections with the state of hockey, it's unbelievable.
Just make enough saves. And honestly, it could have been Tobias Funke in net for the Avs tonight.
What was that guy in the Florida Panthers from the season opener? Do you remember that guy's name that you fell in love with? The Latvian kid or whatever?
Oh my god. Oh.
You have to look up, ESPN will still have his roster.
I literally have
his name. The fact that he was in the NHL, I was like, how did this guy make the roster?
Yeah, I got that's gonna bug me if I don't.
I remember when you brought him up, I was like, I'll never forget that from the season opener, which seems so long ago.
Who? Where? Oh, come on. I've got their roster right here, but
or go to the stats.
Here's Uvis Bolinskis.
Oregon Trail disease. What a name.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's break. Then we're going to dive into the stats quick with our recap of the game, and then we'll take everybody's questions.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we got 42 in here right now. We got a lot of questions, and honestly, I would be much more inclined to just hear what everybody else thought, as opposed to me just continuing to yell about the same things over and over and over and over and over. So we'll do that. Wild lose 5-2. Uvis Bolinskis. He played on March 26th against Boston. Was a -1. 10 minutes, 53 seconds. So there's your I forgot his name already. There's your Uvis Bolinskis update. Kings also leading the Sharks 2-0 in the second period. We will take a break and come back on tonight's Locked On Wild postcast after this. Tonight's Locked On Wild postcast is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Tonight's Locked On Wild postcast also brought to you by Robinhood. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this. Now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right. No cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of the first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% matching on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC is a registered broker-dealer. Minnesota Wild lose 5-2 to the Colorado Avalanche here this evening. Let's take a look at the stats. Wild out shooting Colorado 46-36, but as we discussed, there could have been a little more high dangery, to say the least, in this one tonight. The Wilds 1 for 4 on the power play, 1 for 2 for the Avs, 34-32 Avs with the face-off advantage. 8 penalty minutes for Colorado, 4 for the Wilds. As I always say in these types of games, you can't be called for a penalty against what you can't catch. And 17 hits for the Avs to 8 for the Wild. Let's get to the comments because I've seen enough. I want to first off welcome in Hockey from Home, who is joining us, a Marc-Andre Fleury fan, and we welcome you in, Hockey from Home.
Hockey from Home, where are you watching from? It's awesome. I mean, we've had people, I know Seth and I have gotten tweets from people that watch a show from Ireland, and we have people in Russia, which is just amazing. I know Norway too, because of Zuccarello. It's amazing. I think we had somebody in Australia too. So it's cool to see the Wild fans all over the world watching us and listening to Locked On Wild. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
Look at that. We have an Australia in the chat.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Nice. Thank God for Rossi and Faber, the only guys to play in all 82 games so far, and it's no coincidence. I know it was a rough one again for Brock Faber, but I think we need to acknowledge the fact that Faber is being asked to do a lot this season, and the fact that his numbers have started to kind of, especially in the minus department, the fact that they've started to come back down. Also, defensively, it's not easy to defend a 2-on-1. Man, there was one of those goals tonight.
He looked exhausted on the ice. I mean, he's trying so hard out there. It's no excuses, but he's just he's giving everything that he possibly can. He can't fault it for that. I know it was a tough game for him, but I mean, at least you see the effort. Same thing with Rossi. He was battling his tail off. I thought for sure too. And when you see rookies doing that, and you have some veterans that are not pulling their own weight, that's tough. Yeah, it is a situation where you want to see those guys lead because they're young players, and it's encouraging to see them do that. It's encouraging to see Murat Huznadinov follow suit, because again, I just continue to campaign for more. The young guys are fighting for their jobs and their roles, and you can see that. And the guys with the no move clauses they've taken, it seems like they're still in Cabo. They're on their on their break trips still. It's a really tough look, and some of these guys have been in the league a long time. Yeah. You think Alex Ovechkin would put up with the effort that Marcus Johansson's pulling now? I don't think why do you think he's here? Yeah, Washington said enough of this. We had him. Yeah, you guys can have him again. It's something else. There's so many different things, which is why this is going to take a full week
to go through. And like let's go to this one from Jody. This is a good question. I'm trying to kind of bounce around here. And so if I miss people's questions, I apologize. We have a ton in here, and I'm trying to get to the meaty ones for sure. Hines versus Dean. Who do you pick for a coach? Who do you like better? So let's talk this out, because this is one that is still kind of unfolding.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say it right now. I know he has 0 playoff wins, and that nearly like
it makes you want to fall out of the chair, especially when he got a 3-year deal and they didn't even interview anyone else. Like that was very sketchy too, to not even decide to interview anybody else. I know it's his buddy, but I don't think that's a great look.
I will say I am, because we saw it again tonight.
Dean doesn't either. We have to full disclosure.
We saw it again tonight. I like the things that John Hines does during the game from a tactical standpoint. And I think we also need to acknowledge that this roster is pretty limited in key spots. Whether he is himself selecting, whether he himself is saying that these, for instance, Johansson and Goudreau, whether he himself is saying these guys need to play in these spots, or if he's being told play these guys in these spots. I really don't know what to make of that, because I now have talked myself into believing that those lineup decisions are not coming from him.
Yeah.
Which just, the more I think about it, the more it just sounds insane. But then I sit here and I'm like,
Billy always says, these are my guys. That was his, when they asked him why he gave the no move clauses, he's like, I believe in these guys. Well, I mean, those guys at some point could get you a can too, because you can't move your assets. And then, and that's why the rumors of the Rossi, possibly getting moved this summer, because you have limited guys that you can trade on the roster already. I mean, Middleton, or, it's really, or Gus. But I think Dean doesn't get fired if the goaltending wasn't as horrendous as it was to begin the year.
Bingo.
I mean, he should probably still be the coach. It just, the way Gus was playing, it was not good, and Fleury wasn't great, to be honest, either. And that just killed him, and it put all the pressure on Bill Guerin to make a move. And it's always the coach that goes. So which is frustrating. Remember the Detroit game right before Dean got fired. The effort that was mind-boggling effort, and it was just, that was the writing on the wall.
Well, and the team played like they knew it was coming.
Right.
Like it was just a matter of time. They're like, we have gotten to the point that we just can't do anything about this. And on the goalie front, there's
a real discussion this summer that has to happen. I mean, look at the league. The the save percentages were down all across the league, but I mean, it was some of the worst here for sure. And teams will be desperate if you throw Gus out there. They'll there's going to be some bites for sure. Look at Philly. Philly's in a crisis because they don't have Carter Hart now, and they have the young kid that they saved from Russia. It was like, what are those movies?
Fedotov,
Russell, the Snake Plissken getting him out of Russia. Thanks, Jody, too, by the way. I love doing this with Seth. But,
let's talk about the goalie coaching too, because here's something I've kind of been trying to figure out all season is what's going on with Gus. Like, what is causing the issues for Philip Gustafsson this year? And I think it's a number of factors. 100%. We can't, and I have discounted this. We can't discount the fact that Philip Gustafsson became, before the season started, a dad for the first time.
Yep.
That 100% factors in. That 100% factors into what's going on. Also, I think the league has a tell. The league has a tell on Gus.
Yeah.
And he has been trying to get it figured out on the fly this year, which it's 100%. It's a golf swing. Like it's 100% what happens with a golf swing. If you try to make tweaks to your swing, unless you take 1,000 shots, it's muscle memory. And so if there's something that he's trying to do physically, especially on those shots up high, if he's trying to get himself in position to more like block those shots, until he gets enough reps with muscle memory to have that become natural, he's going to revert back to old form. It's the same in every sport. It's the same with somebody's shot in basketball, somebody's footwork as a quarterback in football, somebody's swing in baseball. All of these things need massive amounts of reps to get ingrained in your head. And so I feel like it's something that he's been trying to tweak as the season goes on, but you see these massive swings for him where he has these really, really good games and he's dialed in from the get-go. You see these other games where he gives up 1 or 2 bad goals right away and he just looks like he is lost out there, because when things go bad, your muscle memory reverts back to what you were doing.
This could be so key for Jesper Wallstedt too, as he's only a couple. It's weird to think, but he's only a couple years younger than Gus, which isn't that crazy to think? He's only a couple years, and I think the mental part of being a starting goalie is so key. You can have all the physical traits, but it seems at times that he just loses focus in games, and the positioning, he seems to be all over the place. And, I think he's got to really, take that part into the, and also being in shape. I know he's had issues staying in shape, and it takes a lot to be the big, the 1A, the starting goalie. I mean, he is only 25, but still you're getting to a point too where you just got the money too. So you got the money to be the number one, and so far he hasn't looked like it. So yeah, it's gonna be a big summer for him if he's still on the team in the fall.
I want to jump to this one from Dougie because I think this is part of it too. I love John Tortorella. I would take
press conference was great. Tracy Moon said the same thing.
1,000,000% as head coach of the Minnesota Wild, because I think, and I'm just going to say it, I think this team kind of gets babied sometimes.
Well, what did I just say a couple minutes ago too? There's no accountability for some of these veterans too.
Yeah. It's a huge problem.
Torts scratch Sean Couturier. I know there was a lot of hoopla over that, but they won when they scratched him. It sent a message to the team that everybody is held accountable, even if you're the captain of the team. And some of these vets on the Wild could use a night in the press box to just breathe a little bit, I think.
He said point blank when he scratched Couturier, he said, "This is the team that gives us the best chance to win, and that's what we're going with." Like he's done it to, what did he scratched Owen Tippett at points this year, didn't he?
Yeah, and Owen just got a huge extension.
There were a few times
he hates Bobby Brink too. Remember Bobby Brink was scratched here, and he had all his family coming in, and everybody's held accountable, which is it's gonna be good for Bobby Brink, I think too. And I mean, because he's a talented player. We saw him at Denver. We saw him in high school here. He's a talent for sure. And Philly might not make the playoffs this year, but they're going to be better for it in the long run.
Well, and the thing we have to keep in mind is that coaches, especially John Tortorella, excel in situations like this where you have a team that does not have as much talent as other teams, and they just get more out of you consistently because they demand it. They expect it.
Grind. Philly grinds. We saw it when they played the Wild. It was unbelievable. The one of the games got to overtime and Philly won. It was just they really work hard. It's a lot of teams could take the style that Philly plays.
Us especially. So let's
you miss a guy like Nick Seeler too, who just that was tough.
Miss a guy like Brandon Duhaime.
Yep.
I'm not bitter. We're not gonna be bitter about that.
Yes.
Let's go to this one. I'm gonna try to get to as many comments as I can. I'm jumping around here because there are some really good ones that came in early, and so I'm hopping back and forth. Where was it? Basically the premise was, it was literally right below Dougie's comment. B Lake, we need blockbuster moves this offseason. Alex, I've talked about this.
Yeah.
I feel like there is something coming. I know you don't have the money to do a lot. I know you're locked in with some of these roster situations, but if the goal is to get to the playoffs, if that's your goal, if that's what you are striving for as an organization, you got to do something to shake it up, to give yourself an opportunity to get into the postseason next year. And this is a key point for this team going forward. This offseason is a key point for this team going forward because you have two choices. You have two options in which you can move with this offseason. Is you can go further into this and dive into now that we missed the playoffs, we have to make the playoffs next year. And so we have to sacrifice long-term for now. That is one way in which you can play this out. The other way is to simply accept the reality of the situation. And I feel more and more like this team is moving towards we have to do something to help us win now. And I am not a fan of what that potentially brings.
Yeah. I mean, like we mentioned, let's take a look. Let's look. We have Gus. Gus would be, one of consider a blockbuster move because that's your starting goaltender, and he doesn't have a no move. I know we don't want to trade Rossi, but that could be the panic move that you and I have talked about too. I know. I'm just throwing out names.
Yeah, we're just let's be clear. We're not in favor of Rossi being moved, obviously.
Right. Yeah,
but the fact of the situation he's here, there are limited options.
And in Spurgeon, you don't know about the medicals too, and you can't really trade a guy that he doesn't, he has that no move clause or like partial lists and. Who's going to want a guy that's coming off a hip and a back? You don't know what he's going to look like. And we saw how easy it was for him to get hurt in a preseason game, and that lingered. So I think that's out of the question. You're not going to trade Marcus Foligno, not going to trade Ryan Hartman. You could try to ask, but they aren't going to. Sam Johansson's not gonna. He knows he's not playing great, or thinks he can get away with it. And I don't know if they want to buy out him after we're still dealing with the buyouts.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing is he's being told he's playing well,
right? Which is nuts. It's absolutely nuts. I mean, I don't get it. And Gaudreau too. I don't understand, and it's frustrating for sure. Some of these guys are in elevated spots. It's mind-boggling.
I'm actually I actually looked, Sam. This is okay. Let's talk about this. Yeah. Let's talk about this because
Boston almost traded Ullmark turned down the trade to LA. Remember that?
Jeremy Swayman is 25.
Yeah.
He is a restricted free agent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it happens, but it's definitely like the fact that he's an RFA he made 3.475 this year.
Yeah, he was phenomenal at Maine, and that's got to be the splitting the goaltending. That's gonna be frustrating. I know they publicly don't say it. They seem to have a great relationship between him and Ullmark, but I wouldn't mind that.
Well,
I'd do that one in a heartbeat.
There was the potential for that. I think I heard that the Los Angeles Kings got to like the 5-yard line.
Yeah, remember it was Dubois Ullmark, which would have been.
Oh my God.
That was crazy. That was part. I mean, I don't know if that was the full amount, but that was some of the talk. I mean,
yeah,
and he just didn't want to go to the West Coast. Which, why would you not want to live on the beach? But
I want to. Captain's here. Denny is here. I want to get his thoughts on this because we did talk about this, Denny, before you hopped in. But what do you think, Denny, about getting a Torts-like coach? I think John Hines has some similarities to what Dean Evison did. I think he has some areas that he's different. I think he's very intuitive during the game. But ultimately, I think you need a coach that's going to hold everybody accountable. And unless it's something that's coming from directly above John Hines, in which these guys continue to play,
I mean, we know Craig Leopold's not happy. He's not going to get that playoff gate money. That is going to be for a guy that always spends the cap or tries to. That's not going to be good. And they're raising season ticket prices, so that's tough when you don't make the playoffs.
The Jesper Marc-Andre Fleury merchandise would sell itself. If you made Wallflower merch, and the Wild would. Because to be honest, this is a huge pull by Ren. You'd be able to pay the dead cap by itself. And that's one of the routes that this team may go at the goalie position. Fleury has already come out and said if he's back, it's probably
what a perfect
Minnesota
mentor it would be for Wallstead. Perfect mentor.
And again, unless there's a major shakeup to this roster, which I don't think anybody anticipates being a thing, there will be moves. I think.
I remember screaming it to you too before it came out, because we had an episode before that game on a Monday, and I said Jesper needs to play the Arizona game, and it didn't happen, and they threw him. Not only was it in Dallas, it was a national TV game. His dad came from halfway across the world to come see him. I felt so bad for Jesper's dad, and then they just kept him in there too. I was like, you got to pull the guy. And it ended up being 7-0. Yeah, it was just, that made no sense. That can crush a person's confidence too. And I mean, that was mind boggling for that game to be the NHL debut. And that might've been Bill Guerin's call, but that made no sense.
Brandon Duhaime, if this is how this plays out and Fleury comes back for one more season, we may have Brandon Duhaime to thank for it, because I
almost wonder if Flower knew something was coming and he just, I don't know. But just to know that, hey, you got me, now I'm going to get you even harder.
I think, for one, I 100% buy into the thought that Duhaime had no idea the Wilds came to Colorado next week when he did this.
Probably not, just knowing Duhaime's personality.
Yeah, 100% didn't know. And so Fleury is definitely going to get retribution in Colorado, but he may at this point, his prank that he pulls on Duhaime in Colorado may be enough for him to say, I got one more in me. Because again, that
please read Devious's comment. Please just put it up. That is the comment of the night, Devious. Yeah. Comment of the night.
So that's one route. That's one route this goalie situation can go. It'll either be Gus and Fleury, Fleury and Jesper, or Gus and Jesper. But I tend to lean more towards some combination of Fleury and Jesper than I do some combination of Gus and Jesper.
Yeah, it's a panic move might be coming, like you said. That's something we're gonna watch draft night too, and I'll never remember the Kyle Dubas infamous picture of him with two phones going on. I love using that meme. Yeah.
What else do we have here? It just like, again, fan base just will not hold the owner accountable. Put a bad product out, but they fill the seats no matter what. Leopold is laughing all the way to the bank. Fleury might reroute Duhaime's equipment bag to Hong Kong.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh man. He might never see it again if it goes to Hong Kong.
If Jesper is not up next season, that is a mistake that the Wild will regret for years.
I don't know.
I would like to see some clarity as to what's going on in front of Jesper at the NHL level, particularly, I don't know, forwards, defense, the whole thing, whole roster. I just like a little bit of clarity as to what's going on. But I don't know, like, anybody else get the feeling that we're just in a time loop and the same things continue to happen after every game, and the goalies are letting in goals early on, the power play,
and goals that are, it's like Devin Dubnyk goals. It's giving me flashback nightmares. I mean, Gus with the, in his glove, and he just threw it out front to Lehkonen. That was weird. Yeah, that was unbelievable.
The Minnesota Wild must lead the NHL in the number of power plays in which they do everything but score.
It's so many shots right into the Justus guy tonight. That was tough.
Yeah, they do everything but score. They had 3 of them tonight. Yeah. They had 3 power plays in which it was like they threw a ton of shots.
Another guy that's really struggling right now is Zuccarello. I don't know what's going on with him. It's when a guy getting paid that much, it's that's not good.
Well, at least it's contagious. I just Locked On Senators.
Oh boy,
just popped up on YouTube. Here's the title: Lifeless effort by Ottawa Senators produces embarrassing. They did lose 6-0.
Yeah, it was.
Yikes!
It was the Kachuk battle, wasn't it tonight? Or who did they play?
I think so. Who knows? It was Florida 6-0.
Yeah, Kachuk. Yeah. Oh man, I feel so bad for Senators fans. It just, I don't know what but they also got to get rid of their fossil coach too. This interim guy. I mean, he's over 70. It's they gotta
Dean.
Dean is the perfect spot.
Get Dean in there.
Get Dean.
I will comment on this from 77 Racing. Like, people are asking him the questions.
Yeah.
People are asking him, like, Dan Barreiro.
You don't think Russo? You don't think Russo? Yeah. He is on Billy. He will always be on Billy.
The questions continue to be asked. The answers continue to be the same. People, it has been brought up a bunch of times this season, asking if there's regret about the extensions. I think Guerin's been asked that, at least as far as I've seen, a half dozen times, and the answer has been the same every time. No, I have no regrets. I don't regret any of those extensions. I've heard I still believe in this team probably 10 or 15 different times this season.
He's got to hire an assistant GM now too. I mean, that chaos with the Chris O'Hearn, that to not have somebody that can help with contracts right now, that's That is really, really not a good look right now, and that's got to be the number one thing to get squared away here fast. Because
we legitimately are in the no regrets part of the offseason.
Because I mean, Brock Faber is looking at a massive extension, and he has no one to help him right now to work on that. They need a cap guy.
Yeah, they're gonna need a cap guy to navigate just every bit of what happens in the off season. And so, the fact that this team has gone, when did that was in November, right?
I mean, they came right back from whatever happened on that road trip, and he had no idea that it was coming, which is crazy to think. And all chaos then from there, and the league has had to help the Wild. Multiple investigations into the front office. Andrew Haidt. That was what a roller coaster. I felt we were on the Wild thing.
I really can't
look at Dee's comment too.
I really can't wait until the end of season presser, because that was one of the confusing things last year. Was at the end of the season we got I don't think this season is a failure, but I think now where we're at, we know that getting to the playoffs is the goal. And so if that's your goal, sure, it's not a failure to simply make the playoffs. But now this year, what do you have to hide behind? What are you gonna like? We're gonna hear. I'll tell you right now. I will tell you right now what we're gonna hear. We're gonna hear about the injuries. We're gonna hear about the cap constraints. 100%. Book it. Write it down right now. That is 100% what we will hear at the end of the season. No. Too many injuries. Too many cap constraints. What do you expect? Like, you might as well, I could write that down and just save it. And once the end of season presser happens, just hold it up on screen as he's talking. And that's going to be essentially word for word what we get.
Yeah. And Russo will, like B said, I mean, he'll go right at Guerin. But that's what you want. You want to force him to respond. So,
anybody else feel trapped? Anybody else feel claustrophobic and trapped by I'm just losing it. 7 games left. Anybody else feel trapped, constricted, and backed into a corner by what we have seen? Tramp stamps. And I'm not talking about me getting kidnapped by the Locked On Senators guys for Tuesday's postcast. See, now that's going to become a thing.
That is now. We are going to be seeing that on Monday too.
Hashtag tramped is going to become a thing for the rest of the season. Just add it to the list at this point. Front office is definitely a borderline disaster without the Fialis trade. I would say it's more than borderline.
Look, I mean, could you imagine, if they would have traded for anybody else other than Faber? Oh my God. Alex Turcotte, I
know. The Sweden trip feels like another lifetime ago. It really does. It feels like it would, honestly, it feels like it was last season. That early into the year feels like just another timeline completely.
Didn't John Merrill score in that game too?
Oh, probably.
Wasn't John Merrill? Didn't he score one of the goals in that Toronto game?
Probably.
Look it up, or someone in the comments. I could have sworn John Merrill scored, and I was like,
I'll look it up. I can move off of Uvis Bolinski's. We don't need to go down.
That's what we're gonna remember from this from this postcast too. Tramped and Oregon Trail, Florida guy.
The San Jose Sharks are feeling tramped by the Los Angeles Kings right now. It's still 2-0 after 2 periods. Again, as far as my math can tell, 6 points counting tonight, 6 more points for the Los Angeles Kings, and it is over because the Wild have 7 games left. If they win all 7, that's 14 points. That gets them to 95. All the Los Angeles Kings have to do to get to 95, including tonight, is 6 points. So 6 is the number. Any combination of 6 points. And the Wild play the Kings. April 15th. It'll be over by then.
I think the big thing for the Kings was getting Arvidsson back. I mean, that guy is a freaking stud. And they were really missing him. And now that he's fully healthy, the Kings. I'm just glad for once it's not going to be Kings Oilers in the playoffs first round, because they've 3 years in a row. Everybody else in the comments too, give your thoughts on how they're doing the playoffs now. I just think they got to go back to 1 versus 8. The fact that playoff
seeding sucks.
The fact that the second, in the division has to play the third in the division right away in the first round, I think that is just terrible.
It sucks out loud. It's awful.
Alex Trampoletti.
Oh my God. How about this? I feel tramped by us drafting Charlie Stramel, who is in the transfer portal.
Yeah, it's not good. It is not good. What if he never plays a game in the NHL too? That would be a horrendous move. Yeah.
Not like Gabe Perreault was sitting right there.
Oh,
right there.
Who might win a national title? Yeah.
Merrill in the 2 games in Sweden did. Yes, he did. Toronto.
When we were watching that, because we did the we were doing a live look in or whatever. I was like, oh my God, he did.
We are just trample. 2024, 2025, more Tramp.
Make Tramp great again.
Give Tramp a no move, no trade extension. Seth is not short for anything. It just stands on its own, like Prince. Just stands on its own. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I have really gone out of my way to just not barb John Merrill, because he has played better since the last couple of months of the season. And so I'm glad Denny pointed this out, because it shows, I think, that even if it is a bit that I enjoy, it's one that I still
he's competent.
Yeah, I'm still willing to acknowledge when a player has been doing well.
Can you put Brant's question up there, the strategy one?
Let me find it. Oh boy.
So after Jeremy's nicknames for the.
Here we go.
Okay, so him going in the transfer portal, a lot of it has to do with the Wild and his family advisor or agent. He was drafted as a center, and Wisconsin stuck him on the 4th line. He was playing wing on the 4th line for Wisconsin, and in the NCAA tournament game, he didn't see the ice in overtime, that's a bad look for a 1st-round draft pick. So, this is the Wild making a Mayday call and trying to get him, out of Wisconsin. And the rumor is that that Michigan State is going to try to pick him up. Adam Nightingale was his coach at the development program, and Michigan State's been getting a lot of transfers in. So I don't know if it's a diva or not. So, some of these guys, they it's they can't handle adversity too. But I also think the Wild are doing it too to try to save face, because it's been horrendous, at Wisconsin for him. Nowhere near the production a first-round draft pick should be having. So I don't know if, he could be a diva too, but I think
I'm a diva.
I think it's really Kieran. I'm just saying, I think they're just trying to get him the hell out of there. So
losing my mind.
You are.
I do want to bring this up because this also made me die inside a little bit.
Northern Michigan, Tracy.
Scott saying the NBA has it right in 1 versus 8. But also, could you imagine if the NHL did a play-in tournament? Because guess who would be the 10 seed right now?
Oh man. Oh.
We'd be the 10 and we would play Nashville. No.
Nashville just kicks the Wilds.
That's not accurate, is it? How does the NBA do it? So it's 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, and those teams play. Those ones get in. So like 7 versus 10.
7 plays 10 and 8 play 9. Okay. I kind of thought that, but then I was like, no, that can't be right. So we technically then, if I don't even want to entertain it because it just makes me sad. If there was a play-in tournament, the Wild would play Nashville.
Could you imagine if the NHL had the in-season tournament BS that the NBA did too? It's crazy, and the Lakers hung a banner. That's so embarrassing that no one cares about, and the goofy courts that they had too. That was. I'm
feeling tramped by the potential for a play-in tournament in the season. Hey, folks, I think Denny is on to something a little bit here. Dangle Johnny vibes in the offseason. His trade value is at an all-time high.
It just reminds me, we've brought it up a lot on the pod, but the fact that Dmitry Kulikov trade came out of nowhere, and thank you Anaheim for taking him off the Wild's hands, and that was after when he was Mr. Olay against the Blues in that playoff series. He was letting the Matadors get to the front of the net, the St. Louis Matadors.
Oh boy. I got to see what this stat is, and this might be. I'm gonna have to go touch grass.
He might fall out of his seat.
I can't even. In 37 games since January 1st.
Oh boy.
Everybody buckled in. In 37 games since January 1st, Marcus Johansson has 8 points.
Oh,
Freddie
boy.
Gaudreau has 5. In that same span, honestly,
the Cardio brothers,
Kirill Kaprizov and Joel Eriksson Ek have more 6-point games than Freddie Gaudreau has points since January 1st.
Oh my God! Look at Brandt's comment: 9 shots on goal. Oh my goodness! Holy moly! John Merrill, Cale Makar Jr. It's crazy. Oh, Nyquist, yeah.
I can do it.
Screen.
I can do it. Let me just fire up NHL.com. I can tell you the point totals.
Denny.
I can tell you the point totals. All right, Denny, I got you. Where was that? Nyquist. Skaters by game. January 1st.
He's on just what a run that he's on. He must be a big U2 fan.
Yeah, Andrew Burnett and Barry Trotz canceling a U2 concert to get the Predators to play better. Could not imagine. I just saw him here. Okay, in 39 games since January 1st, Gustav Nyquist has 14 goals and 30 assists. He has 44 points and 71 shots in 39 games. He has more points and shots and goals than Marcus Johansson and Freddie Gaudreau and the entire fourth line combined.
He was brilliant tonight too. What, the 3 assists tonight? Oh.
Mm-hmm. Makes me really that I.
They put him. Hey, they put him right next to their Swede. You know, it was Swede with Forsberg and Nyquist. Let's talk about this. You know, you want to talk about all-time bad trades. Washington traded Philip Forsberg to Nashville for Martin Erat. Does the chat remember Martin Erat? That's how Philip Forsberg got to Nashville.
That's not a real person.
It changed their franchise. I mean, could you imagine Philip Forsberg with Alex Ovechkin? They would definitely have another cup. There we go, Alaskan Womp. But he remembers Erat. Yeah, that was an all-time fail. I don't know what Washington was thinking. See, everybody remembers Martin Erat. Thank you, David. Yeah, it was. That was, you guys look up the full trade, or Seth, look up that full trade. It was unbelievable. Yeah, I don't know what Pittsburgh not. I mean, that Gensel trade was a fail too. They didn't. I would have tried to get Jackson Blake from UND in that, and they didn't get him, which is crazy. They didn't get Morrow either. So,
the Wild are currently 13th in the tank. 13th in the tankathon, and of the games that they have remaining, like 3 of them are winnable. San Jose, Chicago.
That was bad too, David.
and
Nino for Rask. Oh man, I don't even know if Victor's still playing, or is Victor in Switzerland or something like that? Or
I've got one that can do you one better. Remember when we traded Eric Stahl for Marcus Johansson? That was one of Bill Guerin's first trades.
Oh, that was
fun fact.
Letty for Barker. Oh god, and then Letty wins a cup.
Let me go back.
Look at Dan's comment. Emergency rat.
Oh my god. Buffalo Sabres trade Marcus Johansson to the Minnesota Wild in exchange for Eric Stahl. No salary will be retained by either team, though both players hold no trade clauses. Michael Russo of The Athletic reports that neither one of their new team blocked. This was in 2020. And what did Bill Guerin have to say about the trade at that time? Probably nothing.
Fort Wayne.
I don't even want to look down that road because it is just making me very sad. It makes me very sad to.
Kalen might be out of the league, after this season too with San Jose. He's not doing anything with his
do we want an update on? Do we want an Addison update? I mean, we did a Uvis. I don't even remember what the guy's name is.
Bulkvis or the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
And Kalen's been healthy scratched on a team. I mean, when you look
playing tonight.
Yeah, when you look up the depth chart of San Jose, it is awful. I feel bad for Colin Graff. He signed there, but he also signed there too because he knows he can get in the lineup. So I know the Wild were finalists, but yeah.
Uvis Bolinskis. Thank you. Kalen Addison, his overall season numbers, he's got a goal, 16 assists, 17 total points. You want that minus?
It's got to be one of the worst in the league.
Minus 34.
Oh my. Oh man, he'd be good at the Masters.
With the Sharks, he's played 52 games, 1 goal, 11 assists.
Kalen might get the green jacket for the worst plus minus.
Hey, the Masters is coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, Scott brings up a good point. Celebrini is the favorite for San Jose now, just because didn't the Blackhawks beat San Jose a couple of times, and that helped.
You know who won the Tankathon in the simulation that I did just now? Calgary.
Oh man, Calgary's such a weird team. I don't know. They got eliminated tonight, but they are definitely it's a weird team.
Ick -30. Yeah, and I'm playing up the stall trade a little bit, just because like he was fun while he was here. He had some good seasons, but by that point he was.
While we're on the plus minus,
the
leader in the plus minus is Gustav Forsling, and he's a plus 47. And when you compare that to Kalen Addison, it's like, oh my God,
that's almost an entire season's worth of goals for one team.
Bedard is 4th worst in the league right now for plus minus. He's a -38, which is crazy for the guy that's going to probably be the Calder. It's unbelievable. But William Eklund with San Jose is a -43. Can you imagine? It's possible that he could get to a -50. I don't think I've ever seen that, but to be on a -50 would be nuts. Yeah.
Yucky.
Oh man. Yeah. Most of them are. It's all Sharks, and Cam Fowler's a -36, which is crazy. What's really surprising is Torrey Krug is a -30, which Johnny Gaudreau's a -26. He's completely fallen off the face of the earth.
We start to see the issues with plus minus, because this is a good point that Sean brings up. Alex Goligoski 2 years ago was like a plus 46, I think. The year that they scored just a gazillion goals.
Right.
Because they he was playing with Jared Spurgeon at that point. He was playable, and that top D pairing, the Wild were just so good at controlling the puck that other teams hardly had the puck ever to score.
Right. Can you put Denny's? Okay. Yeah.
Who are we picking for the cup?
Out of the West, he's Denny. I think I love Nashville, but I think when Vegas is fully healthy, they're going to get Hurdle and Stone, and they now have Hannafin too. I mean, as long as the goaltending is semi-competent, I mean, how do you stop Vegas? It's unbelievable. They are so loaded. It makes you just like, oh, are you kidding me? Because getting Hurdle was just unbelievable.
Yeah, that felt like a real difference maker move for them. I mean, if Jonathan Drouin's going to score 2 goals a game, I can't help but go with Colorado. And honestly, I just keep going back to Colorado every time, because let's consider who the Avs could potentially be getting back to. Valeri Nichushkin is I think they said in the broadcast there's potential that he could be ready to come back as early as this weekend.
Yeah.
And there are rumblings again that Gabriel Landeskog might be ready to return for the postseason.
He's skating. He continues to skate. I think he's so nervous. He wants to be his full self. Too.
Yeah.
Tracy brings up the Canucks. We don't know about Demko, because Demko's up in the air right now. Is he going to be fully healthy? But I love that team. I mean, Rick Tocchet is the Torts of the West. He is the Torts of the West.
Goalie's the separator. That's a great point. The goalies.
But you missed it too, Denny. When we talked about it, I'm bringing up when they won the cup. They just steamrolled teams. Darcy gave up some horrendous goals, but they just kicked everyone's butts. Yeah.
Spurgeon skated for the team picture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He twirled for a second, and yeah. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy likes my Torts of the West. Thank you.
Favorite Wild player is Trade Caprice. This is appropriate. Let's get Anita a doer update.
He's playing with Ryan Reeves, so that
Brandon Duhaime, by the way, was getting some second line minutes. It was brought to my attention, not tonight, but which, by the way, how did Duhaime do tonight?
It's so weird seeing him in that jersey.
I know.
It's so weird.
Duhaime played 14 minutes. He had 1 shot. He had 1 hit. He had a block. And he played on the penalty kill. Typical Duhaime stuff. He also pranked the S out of Marc-Andre Fleury before the game. So I'd say Duhaime got the I'd say he got the last laugh.
I love when everybody's just in agreement on Duhaime that there isn't a whole lot going on upstairs, but it's always just, he's always chaos on the ice or just yapping. It's he's a player that is so missed.
Connor Dewar in 12 games with Toronto, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points, 8 pins,
toilet paper rolls.
Let's see what he has done.
What big rig? We got multiple big rigs. The one big rig is in Boston, and he hasn't played yet. And Jordan Greenway is missing games in Buffalo. No, did
he miss any meetings?
He's back with his his coach from junior days, and I don't know. Buffalo is such a mess.
Yeah, they're not.
That's a team that is under. They have so much more talent, and it's crazy. You have a guy like Tage Thompson, and they just can't seem to do anything.
And it's funny too, because as bad as Buffalo's been, they beat the Wild both times they played them.
Yeah. Anita Maroon is also the big rig.
Boston.
He was the original. Boston Bruins. We traded him there, and he was hurt, which I don't know why they traded for a hurt guy, but they think he'll eventually play in the playoffs, and he's the prototypical bottom 6 playoff type of player. So yeah, we'll see if he gets in there. It would be really interesting because Boston is projected to play Tampa right now, and when he was with Tampa, he challenged everybody on Boston, and that they had some heated battles. So that would be very, very interesting to see.
Well, that would be spicy. I'm going to leave it at this one. Next year could be fun. Need to get creative to make room for Ugrin and Heights. There are going to need to be this again,
left wing second line for Height. Give him that opportunity. Zach Benson's been in the top 6 for Buffalo all season as an 18-year-old. So he's, this would, it'd be like Height playing right now. Give him a chance.
We just have to strive for better than what is currently occupying that spot and what has for large stretches of time. And again, I know when I have questioned it, I have been met with, well, there are a lot of things that Johansson does that don't show up on the score sheet. And my response always is, show me them. I keep looking for it. We just have to, whether it be Jake Gensel, Denny is driving the Jake Gensel train. And if that does end up happening, he's going to get all the credit in the world from me for being first on that train. Whoever it ends up being, you just have to strive for better. Don't settle for a guy filling a spot. Let somebody have the opportunity to earn it. That's all I'm asking, because I am going
Brant.
Be tramped under my desk if we have to do another season of this.
Remember to watch on Mondays, Brant. I'll be back with Seth too.
Brock Nelson.
Oh, I mean, we're throwing. I'm sorry, Denny and Sean. I mean, we're throwing out guys that are just in really good spots. I don't know why. I'd love for them to come home, but it's just like they're. Thanks, Brant. Yeah, but it's just I love Brock. Going, you guys know I'm a college hockey guy, and watching him with the Fighting Sioux, he is one heck of a player to watch for sure. He wins faceoffs. He does it all. He's the heart and soul of the Isles. I don't think he would want to come back.
He is not tramped. So let's we'll leave it at that. We've still got 7 games remaining.
True, they are getting old, Sean. Yeah, I would love him back here. Yeah,
the Islanders.
I just don't think he would want to come back. But
the Islanders are somehow older than the Wild.
The Isles might get in, and they might play the Rangers in the first round, which for our guy Johnny Lazarus.
By the way, Johnny is going to help me out with a full-fledged playoff preview. We'll have that. And we're going because I know sometimes like when we do stuff like that.
Did Bob call Parisi parasite? Or was that a typo?
No, that is Bob. That's Bob upping the nickname train once again.
Oh my God. I thought that was a typo. We've had some man,
bangers in the chat tonight.
Oh man.
Which is why we do these.
Been on fire.
And this is a new season long for a postcast, and so I'll just say these to finish. We got 7 more games. My hope is that we see some things that offer encouragement and optimism going into next season, but something tells me that we are just going to feel tramped until the end of the season and then for most of the off season, and then we'll see where we get beyond that. So that's going to wrap it up here tonight. We'll see what happens on Saturday against Winnipeg. We got you covered for that game. Of course, we've got episodes coming for you here the rest of the week. We've got a preview for Saturday's game coming up with a Winnipeg insider. I'm going to ask about we're going to revisit the Declan Chisholm trade. So we'll talk about that.
Or the Declan Chisholm waiver pickup.
Waiver claim. Thank you. We're going to revisit that decision from the Winnipeg perspective. So that should be fun. I dropped the Discord.
Keeping Logan Stanley over Declan.
Yeah. We'll talk also about what it's like to be pushing for the postseason as opposed to feeling
Thanks for
trapped.
watching, Sean.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Thanks, Denny.
Make sure to hit the like button.
Thanks, Tracy.
As you head out here
Anita.
tonight, and
Thanks,
make sure to subscribe as well. We'll have you covered after Saturday's game too. We'll have you covered on Sunday. We've got a live stream coming during the
Thanks,
game.
Optics.
We've got the live show and the live stream coming on Sunday. I'm going to wrap up because I've got nothing left. I put everything
everyone.
I have into
Appreciate all the
support.
support.
So
thanks, Sean.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. This has been another Off the Rails Locked On Wild postcast. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on anything like these. Just absolutely derailed, and we'll be back at it come Saturday. But until then, we'll join you for tomorrow's episode. This has been another production of Locked On Wild as part of the Locked On Podcast Network.